Alright, what's up YouTube? It's Nick here. This video is going to be on 5 things that will break on your 350Z. Guaranteed. Okay, so if you've been keeping up with my channel, the first thing you notice is, the first thing I replaced on my 350Z is the window motor. And if it's not, then it should have been because it has been. Okay, so first thing is, usually when the window motors break, the windows, or they're about to break, when you let up the window, it doesn't go up all the way. That right there means your windows motor's going out soon, and you gotta get that replaced ASAP. The typical price to replace that is around $50 per motor. You can get off of eBay and you should be good, and that's about it. Okay, so when these little springs go out, your trunk is really difficult to open. Okay, so this is what it looks like when they go out. You press a button, the trunk doesn't come up, so now you can't get your fingers up in there. So you have to press button again and kind of pull up on it. It makes the trunk a lot harder to open. To fix these, it usually costs around, if I'm not mistaken, it's like $60 for each one, which is pretty expensive for these. So what I did on one of these is I actually put pennies in here, like about a stack of 3 pennies. Kind of broke the boot on it, but hey, it still works. And all I did was put it back into the Z like this. Pop the trunk one time, one hand up, ooh, clean. Alright, so the next thing you're going to replace is the trunk struts. This is like the third thing that will go out on your Z, and believe it or not, this is the correct order. Ask anyone who owns a 350Z, they will tell you the exact same. Window motors, these little spring things, and then the trunk struts. Summertime, you might not notice it as much, but definitely in the wintertime, you'll be in your trunk, you're doing something, and out of nowhere, the trunk just knocks you out, because these don't really hold up in the wintertime after about, I guess, about 5 or 6 years of use or whatever. So you can go get these from Z1 Motorsports. These were the people who had the cheapest ones for $71. And yeah, it's just literally easy install. I did make a video on how to install that, so you can go check that out. Get on like that. Try not to scratch your car up. Turn this around. Up. And it holds your trunk up pretty nice. Comes up, no issue. So there we go. Moving on to that. Uh-oh, we only on number 4. And guess what? I just popped the hood, so you know what that means, right? Nah, nothing in the hood broke. But basically, it's what's under the hood that's broke. And when I say under the hood, I'm not talking an engine component or anything. I'm not talking at belts. But you see that metal piece right there? It's kind of mirrored wrong, but it says Z-Speed. What it is my new aluminum undertray. Set the camera back over here first. Alright, so the reason why you're going to have to replace the undertray is because the 350Z is super low. If you ever try to get out of the car, your mom ever try to get out of the car, your grandma ever try to get out of your car, your girl ever try to get out of your car, they all going to complain about how low your car is. And also, you're going to know because you're going to be scraping on about everything about every other day. And what that does is, Nissan put this plastic undertray under there, worst idea ever, Nissan by the way, and it just tears up. Mine started tearing up on the highway, which led to the fender line actually tearing up as well. I say go ahead and get yourself a aluminum undertray, only because so far I'm not having as many issues with scraping as I was before with a plastic one, and I don't have to worry about the flapping part of the plastic one hitting the under part of my car, because you know it's metal, it's pretty rigid, so that's good. The only downside is if you do break your undertray, it's going to be the highest thing so far that I replaced on my Z as of now. Hopefully nothing else goes bad. And that part alone is $203. If you go back with a plastic one, it's $180. I say, hey, you got yourself a sports car, spend extra $20 to get the aluminum. Don't be in the exact same situation again twice. So moving on to the 5th thing. Let's close the hood first. Okay. So we're on number 5. This is the last thing I'm talking about in the video. And out of all things to break in the car last, it will be electronics. And I'm not talking all electronics. I'm just talking about all these beautiful gauges. Let me just take a minute to just admire these gauges that Nissan put in this car. Alright, so basically the last thing you're going to, or you don't have to replace the gauges. You can kind of get by with it. Every now and then, if one of my gauges mess up, I just hit it. Bam! Back to normal. But sooner or later it's going to give out, so you're going to have to change that. Thinking about going with a digital display soon, so that won't be an issue for me. And as well, if you run a Bluetooth ODB adapter and hook it up to your phone, you can use that instead of using the gauge. But I mean, unless you're really just racing or something, I mean, all the gauges aren't that necessary. The only one that really matters the most will probably your speedometer and your tachometer, depending on if you know your stick shift or not. If you're automatic, you probably should be good, but you know, just in case. Yeah, that's about it. Gauges, I do not know the price of that, but you can find that out because they range depending on if you buy one from a Part Out Z, and the gauge price different. It's different depending on the gauge you buy. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching it.